Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Miles and Goggles Show. I'm your host, Miles. To my left, we've got my co-host, Goglin. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's been a good day.
Yeah, good old day. I mean, we're still in the, dog days of the off season, but
Yeah, just waiting for the season to start.
Yep. So in this episode, we are going to be ranking our top 10 shooting guards. Last episode, we did point guards. If you missed that, go ahead and check that one out. But if you're all caught up, Goglin, you have a game that you want to get to before
Yeah.
you get going? All right, explain to the people what you've got today.
So our game for Miles today is going to be who averaged more. So it's going to be who averaged more points, I'm going to give him two players, and we're going to see, I'm going to give him a stat, like points per game, and I'm going to say the two players, and he's going to have to guess who averaged more points per game. So that's how it's going to be.
Here we go.
To start off is an interesting one.
Okay.
We got Anthony Davis versus Karl Anthony Towns.
For points per game?
No. Who averaged a higher free throw percentage?
Higher free throw percentage between Anthony Davis and Karl Anthony Towns.
This isn't. I will start off easy.
Then Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
Okay. I was way overthinking. Anthony Davis had a bad shooting year last year.
He averaged 53% from the field, which is good, but then 18% from three and 71% from the field. But all right, that's the first one. So that's basically what it's going to be. I'm going to ask him I'm going to give him two players, and we're going to kind of see what he thinks.
All right.
So for this one, who averaged more blocks per game? DeJounte Murray or LaMelo Ball?
See, I'm going to be overthinking this way too much. Is it DeJounte?
Nope, it's LaMelo.
Wow.
DeJounte had 0.3, LaMelo had 0.4.
I knew, by 0.1. That's what you're going to try to do to me. Oh.
Okay.
All right, 0 for 1.
Who had a higher three-point percentage? Jonas Valanciunas or Nikola Vucevic?
Oh, Valanciunas.
Nope.
No
Vuce
way.
shot 36% from three. Wait, let me just check.
There is no way. I had Valanciunas on my fantasy team.
That doesn't mean you know everything about him.
There is no way.
Look at this. Wait. Oh, I typed in Nikola. But, yeah.
Okay,
Unless,
hold on. I need
unless
to
I mixed
fact
up the
check
numbers,
myself.
which is also very, very possible.
So Valanciunas shot 36.
Oh, yeah. I mixed it up. You were right. Maybe just a little bit.
I was going to say, because Vucevic had a poor efficient year. Yeah, Vucevic had 31 from 3.
Yeah.
All right, 1 for 2. All right, I'll take it. I knew
No,
Vucevic had a bad year.
You are 1 for 2 because you missed LaMelo. Oh wait, you're 2 for 1 for 2, I guess, because the first one didn't.
Are we going to count the first one?
No.
Oh, all right.
So, who averaged more blocks per game, Rudy Gobert or Robert Williams?
Ooh, Rudy Gobert. Wow. I'm going to go with Rudy. Okay.
Robert Williams averaged 2.2. Rudy averaged 2.1.
I feel like I should have known that. Yeah.
Ooh, here's a good one. Who played in more games, LeBron James or Kevin Durant?
So I know that Kevin Durant played like 55 games or something like that. 50 games. KD or LeBron? Games played. See, the thing that's frustrating is when I was starting to like figure this out for the positions, for how we're gonna figure out positions, it was gonna be, all right, we'll do 55 games played or more. But then I saw it was one of these two players that played like 51 or something. I was like, oh my, okay, we're gonna do 50 because I can't not have Durant or LeBron on the list, but I cannot remember which one it was. I'm gonna say LeBron played more games.
He played 56. Kevin Durant played 55.
Okay.
All right, here's a good one. Who had a higher free throw percentage, Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant?
Kyrie Irving.
Wait, I gotta get back to it. Let's see, K Disney's there. Nope. Oh, wait, did you say Kyrie?
Yeah, Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie by 0.5, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm scuffing this game right now a little bit. So that's 4 through. So, all right, here's a good one. Who attempted more free throws a game? Joel Embiid or Giannis Antetokounmpo?
So, obviously, we all talk about Joel being, drawing so many fouls. I think he averaged like 10.6 free throw attempts per game, something like that. Did Giannis somehow attempt Joel Embiid?
Yep, he attempted 11.8.
Oh, 11
And Giannis attempted 11.4.
That is
That's
kind of
a
crazy.
lot.
That's so many free
That's
throws.
way too many. All right. Who averaged more points per game? Jason Tatum or Ja Morant?
Ja Morant.
Yeah, that was an easy one. I got to sprinkle in a couple like easier ones.
Well, I mean that's close because
It's
you
very
would
close.
think
Within
Jason Tatum
0.5.
would have averaged more.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, let's see. Here's a good one. Who averaged more points per game? Pascal Siakam or De'Aaron Fox?
Ooh. Pascal Siakam or De'Aaron Fox? Well, I know Pascal averaged like 23 and a half or something, like 23, 24. De'Aaron I'm going to go with Pascal Siakam. No, it was De'Aaron, which is crazy because we didn't include him in our top 10 point guards.
No,
we
'cause-
think of him as having a
Yeah.
kind of a down year, but
But he really didn't. He played very well.
yeah.
And nobody's really giving him credit for that. So here's a good one. Who averaged more assists per game? Luka Doncic or DG? Your boy Darius.
It's right at like 8 points. It's going to be like 8.7 and 8.8 or something like that. More assists, Darius Garland or Luka Doncic? I'm going to say Luka.
8.7 versus 8.6.
Okay, yeah. It's all these like 0.1 differences.
Who averaged more steals per game? Mr. Matisse Thybulle or Lonzo Ball?
Was it Lonzo?
Yep.
Yeah, just
By
played in a
0.1.
ton of less games. But he was huge for Chicago. He's one of the main reasons they fell off.
Yep.
How many more do you have?
We'll do 3 more.
3 more? All right.
Who averaged more turnovers per game?
Oh, here we go.
James Harden or Russell Westbrook?
Both players that had kind of down years. I'm going to say, this is actually really... James Harden or Russell Westbrook for turnovers? Was it James Harden?
He had 4.4. Westbrook only had 3.8.
Which is crazy because
Like,
all on
that's
like
surprising.
social media, all you see are Russell Westbrook Laker lowlights of him turning the ball over.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I would always check, and he'd be at like 7 turnovers. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. But
But
like,
somehow Harden had more.
yeah. So, who had a higher field goal percentage? Jakob Poeltl or Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Jakob Poeltl.
Yeah, by a long shot.
Yeah.
He played very well last year. He was one of the. Of course, I traded him and Jason Tatum
For Paul George.
Paul George in fantasy.
For fantasy, and then Paul George got injured, right?
Literally the day after.
Yeah, I mean,
Like legitimately the day.
I mean
after.
that it happens.
Who made more 3-pointers per game? Klay Thompson or Donovan Mitchell?
Donovan Mitchell.
Nope.
No.
Clay had 3.6.
It's just,
D. Mitch at
I went with Donovan because I thought he would have attempted more, but I guess that's
Yeah, they actually attempted like relatively the same as
because
well.
I know Donovan nearly took like 10. I think it was like
They both
9.8
took
a game.
near 10,
Near 10
9.3 and
attempts.
9.8.
I mean, it definitely makes sense.
All right, the last one. Who averaged more points? Fred VanVleet or Tyler Hero?
Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler Hero.
So that's it for our first ever time trying this game. Hopefully you all followed along, and hopefully you got some right. Whichever ones you got right, comment down below how many you got wrong on the YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube or wherever you're listening.
Yep.
And let's get right into top 10 shooting guards in the NBA.
That was definitely a fun game. Now the
Yeah.
shooting guard list, just like in the last episode, we got to make some disclaimers.
Who are even our players not on?
Guys like Klay Thompson, who were
Yeah.
injured and missed most of the season, didn't play enough games. They are not on this list. And then guys like C.J. McCollum, James Harden, Anthony Edwards, they were not shooting guards last
They were
season for their
different
team.
positions.
Different positions. So they are not on this list either. Now, before we start this list, I will 100%
Oh,
say...
also, Bradley Beal will not be on our list.
Oh, Bradley Beal is not on
He
the
had-
list
he had
either. I
less
forgot
than
about
40.
Beal.
He had less than 50. Oh, sorry. Keeps rubbing it.
Yeah. So I'll say right off the bat, this list was a lot harder than the point
It was
guard list.
Very tough.
I don't know if it's because they're like worse players that I had on the list. Or maybe because they're all inexperienced. Like on my list, the oldest guy that I had is 27 years old.
On mine, let's see on mine.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you and I relatively have this. You don't have any old guys.
No,
So-
there's no like Chris Paul's in this one or anything.
Yeah, they're all a bunch of young players, which I found interesting. I didn't really ever think about that, but the shooting guard, it's a very young.
I want Iguodala.
I want Iguodala. All right. So Jackson, start off with your number 10.
Well, should we start off with a couple honorable mentions?
Let's do
'Cause-
that after. Let's do
Okay.
that after.
Okay, so with my number 10, I've got now second-year player Cade Cunningham.
Cade Cunningham at number 10. All right.
Just because I feel like it's still a little early to put him any higher. He averaged 17.4 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 5.6 assists on 41% from the field goal, but only 31% from three. And that's obviously there's a lot of room for improvement with Cade. I mean, he's a very great player. It's just he's still a little young, and some of the guys in front of him have been a little more proven. I guess. And I also want to see what he can do in the playoffs.
Yes. I agree. I have Cade a little bit higher on the list, but I definitely see with what you mean. I might, when we get to where I have him on the list, because I definitely have him higher than.
Well, yeah, because you were looking a little more into the future too, and
Yeah, I'm
I
looking
could
a
see
little
where
bit
you're
more into
coming
the
from with
future
that.
because, I mean, with his size and his all-around game, he really has the potential to be one of the best players in the league, and he's definitely the
Oh, for
building
sure.
block for the Pistons.
He can play guard. He can play both guard positions. You could even maybe slide him at small forward if ever
Maybe.
need be. I mean, he's 6'7", and he's a very built person, so he could definitely play the position if need be. But he's just very talented.
Yeah, something that'll be interesting this season is, they brought in Jaden Ivey, a rookie. How will
Love
that
Jaden- I love
backcourt
Jaden Ivey.
duo play together? That'll be. I'm
Yeah,
curious to see how
I could see
that'll
them
go.
starting Ivy at the 1 or even Cade at the 1. Either way, I think
Well, they'll
it
start
works.
both of them together either
Yeah,
way.
for sure. Yeah.
So we'll get to Cade later.
For you
Number
at least.
10, I've got the runaway sixth man of the year winner, Tyler Hero, at number 10. Had a fantastic season for Miami. I mean,
Very.
off the bench numbers of like 21 points, 5 boards, 4 assists on terrific efficiency. The reason why I might have him, well, first, do you have him on your list? So the reason why I have him at number 10 instead of
No
maybe a little
defense.
higher, no defense, and in the playoffs,
You can't play him in the playoffs.
his numbers dropped off dramatically over his last 8 playoff games. And this also might have been due to like injury and stuff like that, but mainly due to defense. Over his last 8 playoff games, his minutes declined down to like 22 minutes per game. And over his last 8 playoff games, he averaged just 10 points, on 38% shooting, 13% from 3, 4 for 31 from 3 over his last 8 playoff games.
That's rough.
And it is rough. His efficiency goes down in the playoffs. And, you know, I would just like to see some more from him. The guys above him on this list, besides, I guess, 2 of these players, only like 2 of the guys I have ahead of him on the list are guys that excelled in the playoffs, guys that improved. So next we'll go to number 9. Number 9, I've got Desmond Bane at number 9.
Oh, I ranked him a little high then.
Really?
I have Tyler Hero here.
You have to, okay, what do you have to?
Like you said, just he's a great scorer in the regular season. He was that like the spark plug off the Miami bench. He had great efficiency in the regular season as well. Just in the playoffs, just didn't do much. That's why like these guys in front of him, like I said, same with Cade. Got to see something from him in the playoffs first.
And, well, I also will say this about Tyler Hero. In the regular season as well, this is probably why his numbers maybe were a little bit inflated. The
played
Heat went
32
through
minutes
a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, they missed a ton of games.
And he
And
still
Tyler
played
Hero
32
still
minutes a
played
game.
really well and contributed very well offensively for a team that ended up being the number 1 seed in the East.
Yeah.
With a bunch of injuries. But Desmond Bane, going from 9 points to 18 points per game, shooting 43% from 3 on
he's a
7
sniper.
attempts. And the reason why I've got him at number 9 above Tyler Hero is, like I was talking about, his playoffs were fantastic. In the Minnesota first-round series, he led Memphis in scoring, 23.5 points, nearly shot 50% from 3 on 9 attempts. And even in the Golden State series, he still shot about 50%, 49% from 3, but only on 5.5 attempts. He just didn't get enough shots up. And just performed really well in the playoffs, as well as in the regular season. Memphis, you know, they were the second best team in the league, but John Morant missed a lot of games, but Memphis kept winning games.
He played the same amount as LeBron.
Desmond Bane, in the month of March, when John Morant missed most of the month, 21 points on 52% from 3. I mean, the guy is
That's
just
crazy.
a sniper.
52%.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So
Desmond Bane, that my number 9. Where do you have? Well, we'll get to that later. At number 8, who do you have at number 8? Tyrese Maxey at number 8.
I love Tyrese Maxey.
Okay.
Is that low, you think, or high?
I've got him a little higher.
Really?
I've got him a little higher, but explain Tyrese Maxey number 8.
So he averaged 17.5 points, but he also he didn't rebound that much, and he didn't really get the assist numbers that a lot of these other guys got. And he was some of these other guys that you just talked about, Desmond Bane, had to be the number 1 guy on their team at some points, and I feel like even when Joel was out, he still wasn't the number 1 guy on that team. I still think it was Tobias or even James Harden later in the season. James Harden didn't play like it, but he was still considered that number 1 guy. And he has great efficiency, but just he still has room to grow.
Yeah, he definitely has room to grow.
He has a lot of room to grow, so he could definitely move up a lot on this list. But for now, I think 8's a good spot for him, just because some of these guys ahead of him are either a little more proven or just done more on the teams they're on.
Okay. Number 8, I've got Jordan Poole.
Pool party.
Jordan Poole, he's definitely a favorite to win 6th Man of the Year this year. He might be the runaway favorite.
Well,
What
Tyler
would you
Hero
think?
still.
Maybe, Tyler Hero could still, but he's been saying reports that he wants to start, so I don't know how he'll play.
Love Jordan Poole.
But Jordan Poole, key contributor on a championship team,
Beast.
averaged 18.5 points per game, 45% from the field, 36% from 3, led the league in free throw shooting. Terrific season for Jordan Poole.
And fun fact, he averaged most of those points when there were, as people call them, baddies in the stands. I saw that video yesterday again. I was just dying.
It keeps going.
Because I saw
on
that
and
video
on and
while
on.
I was making my Jordan Poole slide, and I was just like, oh man, that's just too funny.
Yeah, Jordan Poole, I've really been impressed with how much he's improved because his rookie season, he was horrendous.
He was DG bad in his rookie year.
Yeah, maybe worse. I mean, 9 points, which, I mean, it's okay. It's a rookie. but 33% from the field, 28% from three. And
That's
now he's become such a terrific offensive threat for Golden State.
And now he's like one of the key guys on one of the key teams in the league.
Now, the question for him will be how much more can he improve now that Clay's back healthy and he'll have those minutes back?
That's true. So you have him at 8, right?
I do have him at number 8.
So just like kind of going off of what you said, I have Jordan Poole at 7.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's that guy. Like, he came out, nobody expected him to be as good as he was, and he just balled out night in and night out. Even when Steph Curry was out, he still came in and he scored those points for Golden State and led them to some big wins. And like you said, I mean, hopefully he keeps his minutes. Hopefully he'll be able to keep the production up with Clay back. And I think like they could start him and Clay in a super small ball lineup.
Oh, no
if they
question.
Wanted to,
The death lineup for them now with Curry, Poole, Clay, Wiggins, and Draymond, that's definitely a death lineup that they used a lot in the playoffs.
They could easily, like, if they go up against the Nuggets, they could torch Jokic with that. I mean, we saw Jokic just get torched by that
in the playoffs.
in the Euro League. But, yeah, I have Jordan Poole at 7.
Jordan Poole. Something else. His contract, I'm pretty sure, is going to be up after this season, and he'll be a restricted free agent.
But can the Warriors match all that
Right.
with their money?
Will he try to go and start somewhere?
Rockets.
Not to the Rockets, because they'll have a guy who's an honorable mention on my list, at least.
Same here.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. He's number 1.
But Jordan Poole, like, could he end up going to, like, a Charlotte's been rumored? Like, teams that just need a shooting guard.
Yeah.
Like a scorer. Well, Charlotte doesn't really need more scoring, but that's definitely a place that I've seen him linked to. My number 7 is Cade Cunningham. I had him a lot higher, mainly due to his numbers post All-Star break.
That's very true.
21 points, 6 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 46% from the field post All-Star break when it was just 39% prior. His three-point shooting, horrendous last season. That's going to definitely be something that he'll need to improve. But I definitely see the light with Cade and his potential to be a terrific player in this league.
Yeah. Like I said, he's probably going to surpass all these guys. For me, he's still at 10 for me, like, obviously, but that's not going to change.
Yeah. So my number 6, I actually had Tyrese Maxey at number 6, mainly because of, like, similar to Cade Cunningham, after James Harden got traded to Philadelphia, he played extremely well. 19 points, 52, 48, 85 shooting splits, and in the playoffs, he was their second best player as a 21-year-old, which I found extremely impressive. And I definitely think he could make another leap this season. He could potentially be an all-star for the Sixers this year. Who do you have at number 6?
I've got Desmond Bane.
Wow, okay,
I
so
love
we might have had
Desmond Bane.
those two switched. Well, I had Desmond Bane at 9, but I know you're a huge fan of Desmond Bane.
Yeah, just the shoot, like, he's that guy who can go off ball for Ja, and if Ja needs to kick it out, he's right there, and he knocks it down almost every time. He averaged, I mean, like you already said, he averaged 18, but like with Maxey, I mean, he doesn't average the assists or, like, crazy rebounds.
But he doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to, and he plays pretty good defense. And, like, when Ja was out, he was that guy. They were beating good teams by a lot.
They were the second best team in the NBA this season, for the Memphis Grizzlies, which is still kind of crazy to think about.
A lot of that was with Ja out. I mean, Ja missed 26 games. And through that time, he was that guy for them. He was what kept them afloat a lot of the time. Like, I felt like every time I was turning on a Grizzlies game, he was just on fire from 3. He couldn't miss.
Yeah. So now we'll get into the top 5, and similar to the point guard list with that top 4, I think these top 5 guys are in a whole nother tier as the other guys. Do you maybe?
I think there's still 2 different tiers.
Oh, actually, you are right. You are right. So my number 5, I had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Who'd you have at number 5?
I have, as Flight calls him, Zach LaVine, dude.
Zach LaVine at 5. Okay. Why do you have Zach LaVine at number 5?
I mean, he scores the ball really well, and, like, average 24.4, 4.6, 4.5. Again, like with the other guys, he's not as prolific of a passer as some of these other guys. And granted, he doesn't need to be. He plays with Lonzo. But
DeRozan.
yeah, but, like, some of the guys ahead of him have similar teammates like that, and they still get it done. They still get those high numbers. But he's very efficient from three. He shot pretty much 39% from three. And he's a baller. And obviously, I love his dunking. But just like I say with everyone, some of these guys ahead of him, I just believe are a little bit better, especially like the guys in front of him now, because shooting guard's pretty top heavy, I'd say.
So SGA for me at number 5, he's a good all-around player, of course. His numbers last season, when you look at like the per 36 numbers, he basically had the same season but worse efficiency. His three-point struggles this season, he went from 42% down all the way down to 30, which isn't the best, just going off of last season. And of course, this isn't his fault. But as the number one option, he hasn't won anything yet. And of course, like I said, that's not his fault.
Playing on the Thunder during their rebuild.
Yeah. But yeah, these guys ahead of Shea, I think, have just, as number one guys, they've been better and they've won a little bit more. Besides my number 4, which is Zach LaVine. Of course, as a number one option, he never came close to the playoffs. This past season was his first year making it. He definitely thrives as a number 2 option on the offensive end. But as a number 1 scoring option, like the last few years before DeRozan got there in Chicago, he was like 27 points per game on terrific efficiency. Yeah. So that's why I have Zach LaVine over Shea, because this past season he was the second option, and he might have actually put up better numbers than Shea, who was the number 1 option.
Yeah.
So
I have Shea at 4, and it's mainly just because of what he was doing at the end of the season.
Yeah.
After he came back, he was going ballistic. I mean, how many was it? Was it 7 straight 30-point games?
Yeah, he went crazy in the second.
And I mean,
half
he was like obviously not the best efficiency, but he's still young too, and so is LaVine. But like, I think you can interchange them for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
It just depends on I guess the night that they have.
Yeah. So another thing with Shea, I guess this is more of a Thunder rebuild thing, is how much more losing is he going to take before he snaps? Because as a 23-year-old who in the first 2 years of his career, he was on successful basketball teams, both with the Clippers and the Thunder with Chris Paul. He experienced winning for the first 2 seasons, and now it's been nothing but losing, including like the team telling him, oh, you got a little minor injury, just take it back and, relax a little bit. We don't need you to play because we want to lose.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting another season of that this year with Chet Holmgren being injured. How much more of it can he take before he wants out?
Until he becomes James Harden. Hopefully not.
Except in this case,
it'd
be warranted, because it kind of be warranted. I mean, imagine being in a situation like that where you're asked to sit down games because they don't want you to win.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, interchangeable at 4 and 5. Either way, both amazing players.
Yep.
So at number 3, who do you have at number 3?
Got Donovan Mitchell at number 3.
I have Jaylen Brown.
You have Jaylen Brown at number 3.
I do.
Wow. Okay.
Just because, Jaylen Brown is the number 2 option on his team, averaged 23.7 points, 6.1 boards, 3.5 assists, which, like I said, didn't pass the ball as much as other guys. 47% from the field, 35% from 3. And there were some nights where he was taking some really bad shots. Him and Tatum just do that all the time. And I hate it. Because they're good and they can get to their spots, but when they don't, they don't pass the ball. They just chuck up some dumb shots sometimes.
Yeah, the Celtics are kind of offensively, they're not that great to watch for that reason. It turns into a lot of isolation. But with shooting guards, that's kind of what you're going to get.
That's true. But yeah, he's a good defender. He's a team leader. But the 2 guys I have ahead of him, I think, are just better.
Interesting. Okay, so Donovan Mitchell for me at number 3, of course, the newest Cleveland Cavalier. We just acquired him. So I've been doing a ton of research, watching old Jazz games and, doing all that. I've got him at number 3 because as the number 1 scoring option, his teams have been successful winning in the regular season, but in the playoffs, despite him stepping up in the playoffs, he has the 7th highest playoff scoring average in NBA history, which is insane. But has never made it past the second round, and that kind of bugs me a little bit. I don't know. I feel like the two guys that I have ahead of him, they've made it further in the playoffs, and they've also been proven to shine when the lights are brightest. So, but it's definitely, these top three are definitely all interchangeable, I think. So who do you have at number 2?
At number 2, this feels a little low for him. It's Jalen Green. I'm just kidding. It's Donovan Mitchell.
Okay.
Like you said for Zach LaVine and Shea, I feel like with Jaylen Brown and Donovan Mitchell, it's kind of the same thing. Like Donovan Mitchell's been that number 1 guy on Utah for since
His whole career.
since he came into the league, and they've made the playoffs either every single year or they missed
No,
it
they made
one
it.
time.
They made it every year.
And that's because of him. I mean, he's
Offensively, yeah. Rudy has a. I know you hate Rudy, but Rudy had a lot to do with the defense the first few years of them making it.
But yeah, I mean, efficiency is good, like 44% from the field, 35 from 3, and like he's just a scorer. He knows how to score. And he's a pretty good facilitator too. It's kind of underrated with his game. He's not the worst passer. He still averages 5.3 assists per game, which, I mean, granted, that's almost 2 assists more per game than what's his face?
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown. And I think he just brings more to the team. Like he's been that leader in Utah, and he's a proven winner. He won a lot of games on Utah because he was that guy, or they won a lot of games because of him. And also Rudy was kind of there too, but mainly Donovan.
So at number 2, I actually have Devin Booker at number 2.
You're lying.
I'm not kidding. I have Devin Booker at number 2.
No.
I have Devin Booker at number 2. He's obviously a phenomenal player. Such a great guy to watch. Terrific offensive player. I really am disappointed with games 6 and 7 versus the Mavericks in the playoffs. In the 2 games, he scored 30 points combined, 9 for 31 from the field, 0 for 8 from 3. In my opinion, I cannot put a guy at the top of my list that played that bad in the last 2 games when his team needed it the most. Even though they were the best team in the league the regular season, definitely you could make the argument. Well, he was probably like top 10 MVP voting, maybe him or Chris Paul. But Devin Booker.
He was 4th in MVP voting, I think.
Was he really?
I think so.
Well, Devin Booker, terrific player. Those last 2 games really frustrate me. They really frustrate me. For a guy that really wanted to see the Suns and the Warriors do a playoff series, he played that bad in the last 2 games. It makes me have him at number 2. It makes me have him lower. So my number 1, Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen Brown is the best shooting guard in the NBA because of his two-way ability. You look at this list, the guys we have on this list, other than maybe Desmond Bane, Jaylen Brown is the only guy on this list that really plays defense. And he can also give you 25 a night like he did in the playoffs. He shined in the bright lights. And in the NBA Finals, he was the Celtics' best player. Jason Tatum struggled with his turnovers, his efficiency. Jaylen Brown was their best player. And I think that his end of the playoff run versus the other guys on this list and his two-way ability, that's why I have him as my best shooting guard. Why do you have Devin Booker as your best shooting guard?
Because I get that you're talking about like games 6 and 7, but we can't forget about, I know this is a while ago, but the year before, he carried that team to the finals.
I wouldn't say carry. They had they had Chris Paul,
like
DeAndre. They had a great team.
Didn't he have 40-point games in that playoff series? And that whole playoffs? And then last year, like, yeah, two bad games. But over the regular season, he was that guy. And, I mean, even before Game 6 and 7, he was still playing great in the playoffs. Other than Game 6 and 7, obviously. So
but those are the 2 most important games of their season. They're out. They're out because he plays that bad.
But he wasn't the only person on the team that played.
But
that
as
bad.
I could say that he might be their best player.
Oh,
Him
he
and
definitely
Chris
is their
Paul.
best player. I
He's
think
their
so.
best player. As a best player, that cannot happen.
It was Kendall's fault.
It cannot happen as the best player.
It was
And
Kendall's fault.
I get what you're saying about last year, the playoff run, the finals run the year before, but that's with last season. If we're making this list a season ago, I definitely have Devin Booker over Jaylen Brown on my list. But those last two playoff games when his team, needed him to continue to step up, he just played a lot worse. And, I mean, you look at it now, people are severely underrating the Suns, probably because of Game
I did
7
that.
against Dallas.
Oh, I definitely did that too.
So,
But yeah, I mean, I think top three are interchangeable.
it is, you could,
Other
I
than
think
maybe
we might have had
Mitchell.
a different guy at every place on the list. I mean, really a tough list to make. And
Yeah.
I was this close to putting Devin Booker over Jaylen Brown still. But Jaylen Brown he just shined in the finals.
Yeah.
So honorable mentions.
Jalen Green?
Yeah, Jalen Green. He was
Jalen
right before Tyler Hero for me
Really?
because of his post All-Star break numbers. He really was efficient.
He was like 2 or 3 behind after, like for me.
Really? So what other guys would you have ahead of Jalen Green that didn't make
Gary
the list?
Trent Jr.
You had Gary. Okay.
He played really well, and people aren't like necessarily talking about
Yeah,
it
no
that
one
much.
talks about Gary Trent Jr. at
But
all.
he played really well. Like, even efficiency-wise, he shot well from 3. He shot good from the field.
Good defender as well.
And also, I think I'd put Anthony Simons above Jalen Green and Lou Dort.
Ooh.
Those two could go over Jalen Green.
Well, see,
Lou
Lou
Dort
Dort,
was
would
both.
play the 3,
That's true.
and I had Simons as the 1 because
Oh,
Dame
really?
missed most of the season.
That's true, but he still played a lot of shooting guard.
He might have played a lot of 2. If that was the case, yeah, I might have Anthony Simons above Jalen Green as well. But other guys, I had Terry Rozier was close.
Terry.
But then, I mean, that's basically all the guys worth mentioning. I mean, like, you have like all the specialist
Bogdanovich,
shooters like
like-
Bogdanovich, Seth Curry, Buddy Hield.
Sexton even.
But he didn't play enough games.
Nah.
But like Akaris LeVert, Will Barton, solid
Oh,
all-around players, but
of
not close
course,
enough
yeah.
to
There
make
was
a
like
list.
Cavs player in there.
Well, I mean, come on. I didn't realize because
Two
of his
Cavs players on
tenure.
the list?
Because of his tenure with the Cavs, it wasn't the best, and he only averaged like 13, 3, and 3.
Trash.
I think that's what he averaged. But for the season as a whole with Indiana, 58 games played, 17, 4, and 4. That's not bad.
It's bad.
That's what are you talking about? But yeah, the shooting guard list definitely a lot harder to figure out.
Very tough.
Very difficult. The small forward list in the next episode, I don't think it'll have as many names. Well, maybe. I guess. Well, we'll have to see.
It's gonna have more names. I can think of like 4 names off the top
Well,
of my
it's
head.
very top heavy, but like the tens of the list.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'm just forgetting. Maybe
Will
I'm
Barton
forgetting
might
some
make the
guys.
list.
Well, pardon. My gosh. But yeah, and like we mentioned before, extremely young list. Like there were no one above like 30 on this list, even that were even close to touching this list.
Yeah.
Only guy that would have been probably Clay.
Yeah. So, for 1 through 10, I had Jalen Green 1 through 10, all 10 positions,
Right.
and then Devin Booker was at 11. No, but yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of interchangeable parts in this list too. Like they're all so close to each other. Top 3 are interchangeable. Then Shea and Zach are interchangeable, and then really 6 through 10, you can make a case for all of them being in different positions. Like
100%.
6 through other than maybe Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero, I think
I
is
think it was
either 9 or 10.
9 or 10, yeah. But like
I wouldn't put him over that. But Maxey, Poole, Bane, and
Kate
Cade.
Cunningham, yeah.
any of them could be anywhere.
And then yeah, the Shea Levine Mitchell, I think. Well, you had Mitchell at 2. Why did you have you had Jaylen Brown below those 2? What did you take into account the defense at all? Did that
I don't play defense.
you don't play defense? I mean,
You know what beats good defender?
well, yeah, good offense.
Better offensive player.
True, that is true.
But yeah, like
Yeah,
interchangeable.
definitely.
And Bradley Beal, if he were on the list, probably would have been.
Ooh, well, he had a bad year, really.
Yeah, he probably would have been a 4.
I think he would have been 5 for me, probably.
Under Levine?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Very.
Well, because Levine, I think we could quickly do this and then we'll close out the episode. But I'm pretty sure Beal averaged like way less numbers as the clear number 1 guy, and Levine was the number 2, and he.
Yeah.
Dang, Beal put up 6.5 assists a game.
That's surprising. Mr. Bradley Beal.
But yeah, his drop off, he dropped off 8 points per game. I mean, it's hard to improve on 31 points per game.
Yeah.
Like the season before, but.
But it's interesting. Shooting guards is just, it's always been an interesting position. It hasn't really been like, I feel like it's the weakest at the top with the 5, you could say.
At the 5?
Like of the 5 positions.
Oh, of the 5, you think shooting guards?
I think so.
Okay, good. Because I was thinking you were saying the centers, and I was like, dude, what are you talking about?
No, the centers are probably the best.
They're the deepest position. That might be the hardest list, or the list with the most variety.
Alperen Şengün 1 through 10.
Right.
Let's
Every
start
rocket is 1 through 10.
Usman Garuba.
But yeah,
Hold on.
let us know what you guys think about the list in the comment section. Who do you have as your best shooting guard in the league? Is it Jaylen Brown like me? Is it Devin Booker? Like Goglin? Is it
Or
another
is it Jalen
wild
Green?
card?
Like I think.
Goglin, you need to relax. So yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you want to see more previous episodes or maybe future episodes.
Follow the Miles N Goggles Twitter. Also.
Yes, as well.
We now have a
Miles
Twitter.
N Goggles.
'Cause
And also subscribe if you want some more. If you want to see some more episodes, hit that bell so you never miss an upload.
Ding.
But yeah, I'm Miles,
I'm Goggles.
and we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.